We are now halfway through the Herr Sprint Series 2024 campaign, and we are here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway tonight for the longest race of the season. The Dash for Cash is complete. Corey Case, your Dash for Cash winner. Of course, it's been a bit of a rough week since that Dash for Cash win a week ago, but he is in this field looking to go 2 in a row in the Herr Sprint Series. But so are the other 23 drivers in the field. This is the longest race of the season, the Carolina 300 here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, leading into tomorrow night's Coke 600 in the Wawa Cup Series. It's Sprint Series night in America from America's home for racing, the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We are here for the Carolina 300. 50 laps of action here tonight and a cycle of pit stops. This is going to be the only race this season on the oval that has a cycle of pit stops for these guys, and definitely going to spice some things up here tonight. And of course, top 4 eligible finishers will be running in tomorrow's Coke 600. And after what happened to Corey Case this past weekend at Indy, I know he would love to get into that Coke 600 and at least have one of these big races this weekend. But hey, one guy who is going to be in that Indy 250 join alongside me, and of course you're going to be in tomorrow night's race as well, Logan Williams. And Logan, you've not had the best of seasons in the Wawa Cup Series, unfortunately, but what do these guys need to do to maybe rebound their season here at Charlotte? Because some of these guys haven't had good seasons as well, like Anthony McClure, like your brother Andrew Williams, who've had some struggles this season. What do you need to do to run well here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway?
Well, here at Charlotte, since it's a high-speed track, it's got some fast pavement under it, and it's one of these cookie-cutter mile-and-a-halfs that we see around a lot of the schedule. But Charlotte stands out because of how wide the front straightaway is, to me at least, because it allows you to get a better run on guys and make moves. So you have to be pretty brave to move your way up through the field here at Charlotte, because you won't have much time off the throttle.
And it's going to be interesting to see what these guys do to utilize the extra time in this race to get up front. Of course, 50 laps here tonight in this one, and a cycle of pit stops. So pit strategy also going to come into effect as well. And just like you said, they definitely run this racetrack wide, especially off the exit of turn number 2. They're almost riding that wall sometimes, and the racing we get here is always a lot of fun. And of course, looking forward to tomorrow night's Coke 600 as well. But hey, this race is 75 miles long. This is the longest Sprint Series race ever, and we're going to have some fun here tonight. The second race of our double header here from Charlotte here tonight. Had this elimination series just a little while ago. I'm sure that was a great race done by Caleb right there, and we're going to have a great one here for Sprint Series night in America. Here's how they line up in the point standings, and after that race at Hillside, which was a fun and exhilarating race, mind to tell you, Juan Romero has taken the points lead away from Alexander Rowe. Alexander Rowe slipped up a little bit the past couple of weeks, and he's now 5 points behind Romero for that points lead. You have Brandon Nelson, who's 16 points behind. Vinny Schultz, who, once again, is not in this race, as she missed the signups for the Hillside Charlotte double right there, and she's 19 points behind. She's going to fall back a little bit more. Hopefully she'll be back for Gateway next week. Chris Reynolds is 32 points behind, and you got Corey Case, who won the Dash for Cash in the Herr Sprint Series last week from Hillside. 37 points behind in that number 25 tonight. And he's got a good chance of maybe getting his 3rd win of the season. For a guy that's made 3 fewer starts than all the guys he's around, he's doing pretty good in the points. And if he makes the rest of the season, could very well be a contender for the championship. We'll have to see if that ends up being the case for him as this race goes along. Excited for this one. We got 24 cars in the field as always. Of course, right in the heart of Indy 250 week, and we're excited for tomorrow's Freedom 50, Coke 600, and of course Saturday the Indianapolis 250. And hey, this is the biggest race for these Sprint Series guys as well, so it's their time to shine here tonight on this Charlotte Motor Speedway, and we're excited to see who gets it done. It's Leonard Kochmer in the 93, starting on the pole position, had the fastest lap at Hillside last week, and looking to get his first career win on the channel. Alongside him is Zayden Davidson, and those two guys battled it out at Dover a month ago. We'll have to see if they battle out again here tonight. Michael Lewis is in the number 4 this week, alongside the 39 of Dylan Matthews. As a matter of fact, everyone's in the same ride they were in from Hillside, so same cars set, same field that we had a week ago. Skylar Taylor and Joey Brown making up row number 3. It's Josh Petty in the 57 and Stuart Gratton in the 64. Chris Reynolds and the 13 machine of Joshua Brown make up row number 5. And then we got Nathan Faden to the outside of Anthony McClure. There's your brother Andrew Williams in the 69 to the inside of Herr and Alonso. Brandon Nelson, Santiago Labarito. Your points leader, Guadalmera, to the inside of Alexander Rowe in the 90. Corey Case in the 25, Duncan Ward in the 53. Then it's Christian Master, Baltazar Steep, and the 99 of Carson Miller to the inside of Aaron Abel. Of course, all 24 of these drivers were in last week's race, and they were set by the fastest lap from the Massachusetts 250 at Hillside. And we'll have to see how it gets shaken up here tonight in terms of that fastest lap and in terms of the running order, because these guys are going to shuffle around quite a bit tonight around the Charlotte Motor Speedway, especially considering we got a cycle of pit stops to go on here tonight. With all that being said, let's go ahead and give these guys a roll off here from the Carolina 300. And Logan, so many strong contenders to win this race here tonight. Who do you think is going to get it done in this Carolina 300 for the longest race of the season?
Considering what we said about Charlotte so far, it's a fast and fun track, and I think that there are a lot of people who can get up front here. So with that, I'm going to take someone who knows how to go fast. He's been fast on the channel for a long time, and that's Stuart Gratton in that 64.
Have to see what Stuart can do. He won the Coke 600 here in Season 5 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series back in the day, so he knows how to get it done in Charlotte. Another guy who's won the Coke 600 before is in this field. That's Herr Alonso in the 50 who won it in 2021. So watch out for those two guys. They know how to get it done here around this racetrack, and this is a long race for these guys, 50 laps. And a cycle of pit stops to go through as well, which also could play into who gets the race victory. But how about Leonard Koshmer? Had that battle with Zane Davidson a month ago at Dover and almost got his first career win, but another huge opportunity for him here in this 93 to finally go to victory lane. We'll have to see if he can pull it off, but so many of these guys want to go to victory lane here tonight and get this longest race win of the season. It'll be fascinating to see who gets it done, because I think we're going to see a bunch of different drivers lead this field here tonight, especially with the equal ratings. And it's anybody's game here with how long this race is. But here we go. We've had a great Indy 250 week so far, and we got another great race for you here tonight. It's the second race of the night here at Charlotte, and we're underway here in the Carolina 300 for Sprint Series Night in America. Well, Leonard Koshmer going to be able to hold on and lead lap number 1. That's a bonus point towards the championship for him. You know, I don't say that as often anymore. I used to say that every single race, but now it's like, you guys know you get a bonus point for leading a lap. But Koshmer knows that as well. He's trying to pull away here from Michael Lewis and Dylan Matthews right there in the 39. Of course, Dylan Matthews, you know, she has a chip on her shoulder after what happened to her last week at Hillside when she was the dominant driver. She was a part of that dash for cash. She got held up by lap traffic near the end and fell outside the top 10. She's going to move up there to second as she gets around Michael Lewis. Here comes Zayden Davidson to the inside of Michael Lewis as well. You got Joey Brown inside the top 5 as well in the 80 machine.
We're seeing a bunch of the top 10 shuffle around already. Good lead for Kochmer pulling away out front, then Matthews. So both of the Evans-Ross cars out front, interestingly enough, for Echo. Zayden Davidson, who's been really, really good over the last month or two, coming into third as well. I'm keeping my eye on him as the race goes on as well.
We'll have to see what Zayden Davidson can do. Of course, got the win at Dover a month ago in that race, in that battle with Leonard Koshmer. And Davidson has a pretty solid track record this season as well. He's 12th in points, only 60 behind, and he's made 4 fewer starts than everybody else in the full-time ride. So that 96 this week for Zayden Davidson. Driving for a good team. Of course, Sam Medio's team has had a lot of success with Juan Romero, who's the points leader right now, and Davidson right up front here, trying to get around Dylan Matthews and Leonard Koshmer, but Koshmer still leading this field in the 93, but Dylan Matthews right there on his back bumper. Joey Brown making a move there on Michael Lewis, and that's Josh Petty. Chris Reynolds, Chris Reynolds has been such a dark horse this season. Really haven't seen him contend for wins, but he sits 32 points behind halfway through the season, 5th in points. He's had a great year there for Durrani Racing. And then your brother right there, Andrew Williams in the 69, Also in the top 10, his teammate for this race, and our points leader Juan Romero rounding out the top 10 in the 87 as Davidson makes the move on Dylan Matthews. That's going to allow Koshmer to pull away even more right here.
And Zayden Davidson's got a full queue of guys behind him now. Matthews, Joey Brown's back there in the 80, and the 57 at Josh Petty, who's rather new as well. But they're calming down up for the top 7 or 8 or so, but behind them it's still quite chaos. Really a hornet's nest back there. So Skylar Taylor got put up 3 wide there. Duncan Ward's back in the midst of this. So is Christian Master. But all of these guys, they got one goal, is to get up to that train that's trying to pull away up front. Oh, and Matthews back to the inside for a second now, and Zayden Davidson can shake things up here.
And Joey Brown's right there in the 80 machine as well, trying to get to the inside of Davidson. And right here, this is what I was talking about. They like to rim ride that outside through 1 and 2, and Davidson going to get a good jump off the exit down the backstretch and clear that 39. And Davidson knows how to get around here. And that 96 machine, as evidenced by that move right there. Dylan Matthews had a shot to take second back away, but she was unable to make it stick right there. And now you got Josh Petty here on the inside of the 80 machine. Chris Reynolds moving his way through the field. That 52 is pretty quick here tonight. And it's only a matter of time, I think, before Chris Reynolds goes to victory lane at some point this season. Got a really good year so far. And I'm sure he'd love to go back to victory lane on the channel. It's been a little while for him. How about Corey Case just outside the top? Actually, he's inside the top 10. In 9th there, just ahead of Christian Master. And, hey, our last winner here in the Herr Sprint Series won the Dash for Cash, won the race at Hillside, looking for his 3rd win of the season, and looking to close in on Juan Romero in the points lead, because you know what? He's only 37 behind, and looking to gain a couple here on him as he's right behind that 87 right now here on lap number 9. And how about Christian Master? This is a guy who we expected a bit better out of him this season. Of course, a long-time veteran of the channel, and he's struggled this season here in the Sprint Series, at least in comparison to some of the other full-time guys. But I'm sure he'd love to go to victory lane at some point this season and have a shot at the Coke 600 tomorrow night as well. That's what these guys are racing for here. As Dylan Matthews back to the inside of Davidson. Looks like she's going to make the pass this time around, and Josh Petty going to follow suit there for the 3rd position.
And I've noticed a lot of these guys, when they're trying to make passes, they're pushing the people in front of them right up the track. But sometimes they hold on, sometimes they don't, like we saw with Zayden Davidson earlier. But like going back to Corey Case there, I saw him push Romero up the track, and Romero's going to lose that spot. Corey Case has been absolutely insane this season so far, only finishing outside the top 10 4 of the times he's run. And that's the reason he's still in this championship conversation, despite making less starts than everyone else. Joey Brown right in front of him, going to the inside of Reynolds. Reynolds still trying to clear up his 2nd top 5 of the season. He hasn't been flashy, but he's been consistent, as you said. See if he can hold off Brown on the outside here. You might be able to clear down, but turn 3, if you're stuck up there, whoa! If you're stuck up there in turn 3, you're pretty much dead meat. That's the easiest spot to make a pass on this track.
And that was a very interesting situation right there with Joey Brown and Chris Reynolds. That 52 really went up high, and then Joey Brown also lost it, allowing Michael Lewis to move to the inside there. Of course, Eric Monaco won in this ride not too long ago. As here we go, we've got a battle for the race lead. Dylan Matthews has closed in on her teammate of Leonard Kochmer here for the top position. Kochmer's led every lap so far in this race. That's just because they've been battling for 2nd place pretty much the entire night right here. We'll have to see if Matthews can find a way around that 93. But how about Evans Ross Racing? They've had a great season over in the Walla Walla Cup Series as well, with their 2 drivers, Jack Haas and Kirsten Bell. 3 wins over there. And, of course, they got a win with Dylan Matthews early on in the season, so Echo's got 4 wins on the year as an owner. Looking for number 5 here tonight. We'll have to see if one of these 2 drivers can get it done. But how about Josh Petty in the 57? Made his debut in the Elimination Series at Daytona and got the race victory there. Of course, he just came off that Elimination Series race earlier on. I don't know what happened in that race quite yet, because there's a good chance that at the time of us recording this, it hasn't actually been recorded yet by Caleb. But, hey, you guys saw what happened in that one. Josh Petty was in that race, and he's back again, so he's got that experience from running earlier tonight. And that might be paying dividends right here as he's going for 2nd on Dylan Matthews.
Yeah, Josh Petty's really showing up. It's the first time he's shown up in this series very much, at least. The Elimination Series has been impressing, but he's got the inside on Matthews here through turn number 3, which is that best spot earlier, but Matthews has a really good car under her. She's going to stay on that outside lane off of turn number 4 now, and I think she might be able to clear Petty going into 1.
Tire wear also come into effect here. Maybe not to the level that it did on Friday night at North Wilkesboro, but you know what? It's still working out pretty well for these guys. We'll have to see how that tire wear affects them once we get to that cycle of pit stops. Probably about a 36 or so lap fuel run for these guys. So we're about halfway. We're not even quite halfway through the run quite yet here. So it's going to get interesting once we get to that point. We'll have to see how far out ahead the race leader is and if that's going to be Kochmer in the 93 because he has been the dominant guy so far. He's led every lap, and he's taking advantage of that pole position in that 93 car here tonight. Zayden Davidson in fourth, and it's Michael Lewis, Joey Brown, Corey Case, Juan Romero right there. You got Duncan Warren in the top 10, and Anthony McClure. Of all the guys, and I've mentioned this so many times this season, of all the guys who have made every start this season, he is lowest in the points, 18th in points, 101 points behind. He's yet to make a Cup Series race this year as well. We'll have to see if he can maybe finally find his way up there and maybe make a start in that Coke 600. Of course, that's a big deal for these guys. We saw what Corey Case did in that North Wilkesboro race on Friday night. Had a solid run in that one as he's going 3 wide through the middle there. Michael Lewis and Joey Brown couldn't quite hold it there on the middle lane. And, you know, there's a good opportunity to get a solid run in the Wawa Cup Series, especially if you are the top finisher. You get that Grattan Autosport ride, and that's what Corey Case did last week and drove that thing to a top 10 run. So we'll have to see if that ends up happening for any of these guys who might make it on. Corey Case losing some ground right there as he slid it up the racetrack. Chris Reynolds to the inside, Anthony McClure as well. Here comes Aaron Abel in the 02, trying to make some moves up the racetrack. When these guys are just shuffling all around. This is the kind of racing we're going to see tomorrow night for 100 laps here at Charlotte. I'm so excited for the Coke 600 tomorrow. It's always a fun race here, and I tell you, I love this racetrack. It's one of the best racetracks we go to on the circuit, and we always have a lot of great stuff up here. But we've had the same guy lead every lap so far. Do you think that's going to stay the same as this race goes along here tonight?
Well, with the way Josh Petty's car has been looking, that 57 has looked like it's on rails for the last few laps. Kochmer was happy when he saw him battling behind him, but Petty's got a good engine underneath him tonight, and he can keep painting that white line on the inside lane. He'll be able to catch Kochmer here. It's just the matter of if he can catch up, because if you're all running the inside lane, it's not going to work for everyone. You get caught up in that air, but it's 4 guys up front that really have a shot at this right now. Matthews and Zayden Davidson are still hanging on, but behind them, it's completely empty.
How about Joey Brown and Michael Lewis battling it out there? How about Anthony McClure? He's really moving his way through the field here in the 05. Looking to take 6th away from Michael Lewis. Solid run for him here tonight. That's something that he absolutely needed. I mean, at this point, he's pretty much out of championship contention. But you know what? He's going to keep on trying. And Triad Racing as a whole has had a very, very tough season. They're 100 points behind the entire field, while the rest of the field is essentially separated by 50 points. Not a good run for Travis Crampton's team so far here in the Herr Sprint Series. They had a much better year last year, too. They got some race victories, but they have not even been close this year to getting any race wins. But we'll see what McClure can do in this one as it moves along. Like I said, a cycle of pit stops in this race, that's going to shake things up quite a bit. Alexander Rowe in the 90. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, he has not had a good run as of late. He's right now last on the racetrack. Remember that top 10 streak that he had? Since then, he has just fallen off a cliff, and tough break for Alexander Rowe, as he is right now the last driver on the racetrack. Not a good day for any of these guys back here. Andrew Williams is back here, Stuart Graham, so many guys who have a lot of experience slipping back in this field here tonight. Not exactly what those guys want to see. We're going to go back up front. That 57 of Josh Petty is right there, trying to close in on Kochmer for this race lead, trying to take it away before we get to the cycle of pit stops. He might have a shot right here at taking it on lap 23. Peeking to the inside. Will it be enough of a momentum run to get it? He's going to be side by side with him into the corner, and Josh Petty to the inside for the race lead here in the Carolina 300.
Yeah, but Kochmer's hanging up on that outside once again. He's got Matthews right behind, and they're still going to be drag racing down the back straightaway here. Josh Petty, that inside lane in 3, can Kochmer hold on? And he's sliding through the corner, but the 93 is still going to be there.
How about this? Who's going to get the lap led? Oh my goodness, are we at Kansas? Oh. I think Josh Petty got him at the line and just barely on the inside of Kochmer, and we got a new race leader here in the Carolina 300. Josh Petty is taking it away in second place, looking to change hands as Dylan Matthews has a run to the inside of Kochmer for that position. That 57 trying to pull away now from the rest of this field.
Kochmer's going to hold on for a second now, and he's got to completely regroup here and make another charge at it. If I'm Kochmer, I want to at least be right there with Petty by the time we get to pit stops in a little over 10 laps here, but He's got Matthews, his teammate, right behind him. So if they work together here, they can probably make a run back up to Josh Petty, who's running all alone right now. But behind them, they're not really worried about Zayden Davidson, Joey Brown right now, or Anthony McClure, who's still having one of his best runs of the season so far. But they're just not on the same wavelength as the top three is at the moment halfway through this race.
Of course, the cycle of pit stops could change all. That could be very interesting once we get to that. And these guys don't make pit stops too often. They really only do so on the road courses, and this is the only oval track where these guys are going to be coming down the pit lane. And it looks like the way this race is going, that those pit stops could be under the green flag, and that's going to really make things interesting because you got to come down at the right time, and you got to be careful for a caution not to come out during that cycle. There's not much you can do about that, of course, but that could definitely hurt your chances at a race victory if you're a dominant driver and you decide to come in first. Of course, Josh Petty looking to dominate the rest of this race as we're halfway through this Carolina 300 here for the Herr Sprint Series. Leonard Kochmer in the 93 trying to get his first career win on the channel. I know he's thinking about that one. He wants to get it here tonight. Dylan Matthews going for win number 2 on the season. Same with Zayden Davidson. Anthony McClure trying to get his first career win. Trying to make it into the Cup race. I'm sure he'd love to run in the Coke 600 tomorrow night. And I know that these guys would love to as well. As Kochmer back to the inside. It's a bit tough as these tires were out for the inside lane to work, but Josh Petty slipped it up the racetrack, and Kochmer back to the inside for the race lead. And once again, very close at the line. Kochmer barely got it that time, and the 93's back out front here in the Carolina 300.
And these guys are really sliding around, allowing Petty to stay in it on that outside lane as long as he can just get to the throttle first, but looks like he might concede the first position to Kochmer here and then try and regroup again. Dylan Matthews still just doesn't quite have the pace to keep up with these two, so it's going to be a really entertaining duel between Petty and Kochmer for the time being. Kochmer still led most of the laps in this race, and I still believe that he can beat Josh Petty. But it all going to come down to these pit stops, and if they keep battling, they're not going to be able to pit at the same time.
And they keep on battling here, and, that's bringing Dylan Matthews right into the fray here once again. I'm impressed with Dylan Matthews. She's run a very clean race so far. She's kept right up with these guys, and, like I said, after what happened last week, I know she'd love to get this race victory. She was so close to getting that dash for cash and couldn't pull it off. And now these guys going side by side ahead of her as she's going to go ahead and make her pit stop. That might be a good move right there. Zayden Davidson as well coming down the pit lane. But it's a little bit past halfway for these guys. A little bit earlier than we anticipated, but you know what? Might be a bit of a strategy move out of those guys, considering these guys are slowing themselves up right now going side by side. If I come down now and get those fresh tires, Dylan Matthews could easily jump those guys on the racetrack. So only Matthews and Davidson coming down on that lap, and we'll see if anyone else follows suit right here. I think Josh Petty might be coming down right here in the 57. And he will be as Kochmer, whoa boy!
Oh my!
That was a bold move right there, and the rest of the field coming down right here. Nathan Faden's going to stay out another lap, but the rest of the field down this time. And I will say, this is a difficult pit lane to come in and out of. Very tight pit stalls here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and these guys have to be careful not to get into each other because it is difficult to come on and off the pit lane here. Dylan Matthews out front in the 39, ahead of Zayden Davidson for those first two guys. The good thing for Leonard Kochmer, he's got that first pit stall. Josh Petty in the 57 might be boxed in a little bit back in there. That could get a little interesting with the number 80 machine. 4 tires for all these guys. Leonard Kochmer in the 93 is going to get off right there. Good stop for him. Josh Petty not too far behind. Petty's got some momentum here coming off the exit of the pit lane. And where's Dylan Matthews and Zayden Davidson? They're coming around the trioval right now. And that 39 machine is right here. How about Aaron Abel? Really good stop out of Aaron Abel in the 02 machine. And this is going to be tight, but I think Dylan Matthews is going to beat these guys off. And she's got the race lead here on lap 32. Great run there for Dylan Matthews.
Easily got it at that. Zayden Davidson's going to try and fly around the outside of Kochmer here as well for second. Trying not to put it in the wall, but it's going to work for the 96. So the two that we were up front the whole time earlier, they're now relinquishing that lead. We'll see if that lap advantage on the tires helps them in the end, but for now it is all Dylan Matthews out front.
So a good run here to start this one out for Dylan Matthews here tonight. Zayden Davidson as well, still in contention, and then Kochmer and Josh Petty still in contention as well. And like I said, they're far from being out of this one. Especially like you said, you got that lap tire advantage as the run goes on. They might be a bit faster as we go on. Obviously, that was a huge factor in North Wilkesboro in the Cup Series race. Like I said, the tire fall off nowhere near as significant here as it was there, but You know, every little bit counts. And you know what? Kochmer and Petty still very much in this thing. How about Aaron Abel? Great stop for him right there. And, you know, we talk about Anthony McClure. Aaron Abel's made every start this season. I think he may be, along with Alexander Rowe, the only two guys who have been signing up who have actually made every start this season. So how about Aaron Abel and Alexander Rowe in that regard? One's had a much better season than the other, but neither have gone to victory lane yet this season. Anthony McClure is in 6th, and it's Michael Lewis, Duncan Ward, Christian Master, and Corey Case getting around Joey Brown for the 10th position. And it's the 80 machine there. Nathan Faden's going to cycle out. He stayed out 2 more laps. Going to cycle out to 12th. Baltazar Steep is 13th. Carson Miller, Herr and Alonso. Brandon Nelson, Juan Romero, a bit of a tough run tonight for him. Alexander Rowe rebounded a little bit right there. He's up to 18th. And you got Skylar Taylor, Joshua Brown, 69 of Andrew Williams. Chris Reynolds with a very poor pit stop. He might have gotten boxed in there. And Stuart Gratton and Santiago Labarito. Everybody's still on the lead lap, though, here, as we come to 15 laps to go in this Carolina 300. Dylan Matthews leads the field, but Zane Davidson trying to charge, and Kochmer and Petty both there as well. I feel like one of these 4 guys is going to get the race victory here tonight, the way this one's looking. We'll have to see how it all ends up going down these last 15 laps.
Yeah, they put 2 seconds on Aaron Abel back there, and there's another almost 2 seconds behind him to his teammate. So I think it's going to be one of these 4. However, Laparito is up there as a laps car, not far ahead of Dylan Matthews here. I don't think
he's really off the pace. Oh my goodness, lap traffic again for Dylan Matthews. He's not going to be happy about this one. And that's going to bring Davidson and all these guys right into the fray. How about that? That 5 definitely has an issue. Kochmer's going to get held up a little bit. Josh Petty's going to go by, and now the top 3 are right on each other. Dylan Matthews, Zayden Davidson, Josh Petty. Kochmer not too far behind, but that might not be the last time they run in the Labarito if this thing stays green, because that 5 machine is way off the pace. Davidson looking to the inside for the race lead. Oh no, into the wall! Into the wall goes Dylan Matthews in the 39. And I think Josh Petty in the 57 tried to make a move on Davidson. While it happened, he clipped the apron. We're still green here at Charlotte, and now Leonard Kochmer going back to the inside for the race lead. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Kept it out of the wall.
Significant damage on the right side of Dylan Matthews' car. And Zayden Davidson just drove it in way too deep on that 39 machine.
Yeah, I thought he still had the old tires. He's trying to slide it into the corner, but that's going to end badly for Matthews, and he's going to be... It's got to be really angry for the 2nd race in a row. A lap car coming by and it ruins a race. But it's going to be Kochmer, Davidson, and Petty are still all in it right now. Kochmer looks to have the best car at the moment. He was able to fly around all those guys during all that chaos. But coming into 11 laps to go here, anyone's game.
Josh Petty to the inside for 2nd. Wondering if Davidson has a little bit of aerodynamic damage from that one, because he was also taking some hard hits. Now Dylan Matthews still running here in the 39. But I think she's a bit off the pace because of that. You see the significant damage to the left side or the right side of that car. And Michael Lewis, Anthony McClure closing in on her right here. Man, what a shame for Dylan Matthews. That's 2 weeks in a row. And she got put in that position because of Santiago Labarito holding her up right there. And then Zayden Davidson, I don't know what he was doing right there. He just drove it in like there was no tomorrow. And that did not work out well for him. But it worked out for Kochmer, who was the one who got held up by Labarito. He was able to pass all 3 of those guys. And he is now in control of this race with 10 laps to go in the Carolina 300. Looking for his first career win on the channel. And it's a pretty big deal to win here at Charlotte in the longest race of the season if he can pull it off here tonight.
Yeah, Kochmer catching that lap car was a blessing in disguise for him. He's still got, it looks like the fastest car of these 3 right now, because he's slowly pulling away from Zayden Davidson, and Josh Petty can't get around the 96 either. So if Kochmer can keep hitting his marks here, run that inside lane, he's probably got the bag secured, as Matthews falling back another few spots. She's going to fall out of the Cup Series spots as well.
One guy who just drove himself into a Cup Series ride is Anthony McClure, and we mentioned he's yet to make a Cup Series start this year. He might end up in that number 50 machine for Appalachian Motorsports on Friday night, tomorrow night, I should say, which would be huge for him to make his first ever Cup Series start in the longest race of the season. But Michael Lewis wants that spot. And Michael Lewis going to have a nose to the inside for that 4th position. And you got Zayden Davidson trying to hold on to 2nd as Josh Petty continues to battle right here with the 96 machine. My goodness, and Michael Lewis going to take it away there from Anthony McClure. Aaron Abel still trying to hang on to a good run. Of course, Aaron Abel ineligible for the hot seat as he's an owner in the Wall Cup Series, and he owns the driver that won the Coke 600 last year in Blaine Keys. I know you guys are trying to find a way to get around that 41. Watch out for Nathan Faden. Remember, he came 2 laps later than everybody. He's now up to the 8th position, and he's definitely got some speed in that one machine. The Texas winner from not too long ago. As Aaron Abel to the inside of Anthony McClure, 4th position. And Zayden Davidson trying to close back in on Koshmer. As we're closing in on 6 laps to go here in the Carolina 300 from Charlotte. Oh boy, and Davidson's going to have a good shot here getting around this 93. A good run for Davidson off the exit of turn number 4.
Yeah, Davidson's running just a little bit higher through 3 and 4 there, trying to get a little bit of a run down here. He's looking inside. I don't think he's got enough space there, but Kochmer's going to leave the door open for the 96.
And once again, will Davidson steal a win away from Kochmer? Of course, they were teammates at Titan Fury for that race. Now driving for different teams here in this one, but I know Kochmer's thinking about that. He wants this race victory. And Zayden Davidson, I don't even know if he's led a lap in this race, but he has been up front in contention for this race win the entire night. He took someone out of contention for the race win. But that's not stopping him from trying to take the race lead right here. 5 laps to go in the Carolina 300. And Leonard Kochmer trying to hold on to the outside lane. He's going to have to concede right there because that 96 has the inside, and he's going to bring Josh Petty with him as well. That 57 looking quick once again. Now for Kochmer and the 57 to Josh Petty. Just like you said, they do have... Actually, you know what? They were the first 2 to come down, weren't they? No, it was Kochmer and Davidson. Kochmer and Davidson were the first 2 to come down. No, it was Dylan Matthews and Davidson. Dylan Matthews and Davidson. And Davidson's got the 1-lap fresher tires, or actually, he's got the older tires. I'm confused. I'm really confused right now. Davidson has the older tires. Kochmer and Petty have 1-lap newer tires. They're the ones at the advantage in the tire game. And Josh Petty is showing that right now as he's moving to the inside for the race lead. They're side by side. And Kochmer's still there in the 93 as well. It's 3 laps to go here in the Carolina 300.
Yeah, Petty's trying to pull a Braden Perez and steal the win away. Although he's still just not able to
Oh boy, are we going to go 3 wide for the race lead? Kochmer was looking to the middle there. Couldn't quite get it, and guess what? Here comes Santiago Labarito again. They're going to run into him here in the next couple of laps. Davidson trying to get that outside lane. He really drove it in there way too deep, and Josh Petty still on the inside. They're still side by side for the race lead. And don't look now. Here comes Michael Lewis, and here comes Nathan Faden in the 1. And here comes Santiago Labarito. Oh boy, they're going to split them right there. Davidson up high in the 96. Kochmer going to get around the 5 machine as well as Josh Petty clears to the race lead.
I don't know how Davidson didn't keep it in the wall again, but it's going to look like even better here for Josh Petty. Kochmer's going around to 2nd. He's sending it way in there.
Oh, he's trying. He's trying. But Josh Petty, he's got the white flag in the air for him. 1 lap to go for the 57, and they're side by side for 2nd place right here. Davidson to the inside of Kochmer for 2nd. That might just seal it for Josh Petty in this 56 machine. We'll see if Kochmer can get the outside lane to his advantage to get a run, but if they remain side by side, I think that's going to seal it. How about Josh Petty in this 57? Looking for a 2nd career win on the channel. And you know what? John Eater's going to be happy about this one. No doubt about it. Josh Petty going to hold on to the race lead, gets it away from Zayden Davidson, and Josh Petty wins the Carolina 300 ahead of Leonard Kochmer, Zayden Davidson, and Michael Lewis, all 4 who will be running in the Coca-Cola 600 tomorrow night in the Wall Cup Series. What a brilliant race here at Charlotte. That was a lot of fun.
And that was absolutely wild, the way they were full send into the corner, especially that last 10 laps, that whole last 10 laps. That's something I definitely want to watch over and over again. That was exciting, and it's perfect fit with Indy 250 week. This is the best week on the channel, and even the Sprint Series is showing out here today.
What a great race. What a great race. And, hey, a lot to look forward to in tomorrow night's race as well, because we're going to see a lot of the same thing, only it's twice as long. And it's the Cup Series with all the ratings and all the storylines going on over there. Davidson with the fastest lap if he signs up for Gateway, or has signed up for Gateway, I should say, because we've already done the signups for that race. He'll get the pole position for that one. Nathan Faden was really quick near the end. Dylan Matthews, Leonard Kochmer, and then the 69 of Andrew Williams with the fast lap. So if your brother signs up, he'll have a good starting position at Gateway. Take a look at the rest of the fastest laps right there for your reference in next week's race. And we'll finally get back on rhythm. Actually, as a matter of fact, yeah, we'll finally get back on rhythm next Wednesday with the Sprint Series. I know it's been a bit wacky. We did, the signups for 2 races there. Then we did the signups for Gateway this past Sunday night, where we're going to actually do it the right way. It's going to be Wednesday night next week for the signups in the next race, which will be Montreal, which will be a lot of fun there as well. We still got Gateway next week for the Sprint Series. And how about that? How about that race for Josh Petty? He held on to it there near the end. He was battling with Davidson and Kochmer. He really had a good car, and he showed it right there near the end. And he used Labarita to his advantage right there to really hone in on those guys, get that inside lane to put Davidson up on the outside. And once that happened, that was it. But what a great race here. And moment of the race was definitely when Davidson got in the Matthews right there, because just think if that did not happen to Matthews, she might have won this race. She had a really fast car, and she'll end up finishing in the 8th position. Not the best of runs for her. But, hey, a lot to look forward to tomorrow night. What are you expecting in tomorrow night's Coke 600 after what you saw here tonight in this Carolina 300?
Oh, man, I'm expecting a few crashes after what we saw tonight with these Sprint Series guys. They were getting aggressive. But overall, pit cycle looks like it's going to be important, especially if Petty and Kochmer did have that tire advantage at the end. It could apply to those Cup Series cars as well, and they'll get really spread out over the course of the night. Especially if we continue the trend of not having that many yellows in the Cup Series. It's been fun to watch, and Coke 600 should be fun as always tomorrow as well.
And of course, as well, the Indianapolis 250 coming up this Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow at noon, I should say, is the Freedom 50. That's always an excellent race. Caleb's going to be doing it this year, however, but we got some big names in that race. And, hey, you know what? We got that Indy 250 coming up on Saturday. So excited to see who gets the 11th running. You're going to be in that, Logan. And, you're one of the few guys doing the double. You're doing it. Nicholas Samadio's got a driver in both series as well. I know there's others. I haven't done the IndyCar series, so I got to, familiarize myself with who's in what car this year. That's going to be a little interesting. But, what's the takeaway? You run Charlotte in the Coke 600, and then you go to Indianapolis. You've never won the Indy 250 before. I know you want to get that one so bad. What are you going to do this weekend to maybe try to win both races? Because no one's ever done that before on the same weekend. And you know what? You've got a chance to do so.
No, I was close the first time I tried doing both with the Indy 250, but I've never had much success in Charlotte. So Charlotte's going to be that's going to be an interesting one. Making sure that you use that inside, get around these cars. But for the Indy 250, it's just going to be a race of endurance, as it always is. You want to stay out of the way of wrecks. I've been claimed by early wrecks the last couple years, and so I want to make sure that I stay out of the way of those this year. But regardless of what happens, it will still all be super fun, and I cannot wait.
It's going to be a very fun race on Saturday for the Indianapolis 250. Excited to see how it ends up going down for that one. And, hey, you know what? It's the biggest race of the year. And, oh, boy, 33 drivers going for it for 250 miles, 100 laps in Indianapolis. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be great calling an IndyCar race back again. Caleb's been doing a great job this season with the Haas IndyCar Series, but, hey, got to do one. And it's the biggest one of the season for the Indy 250. Going to be a huge one there on Saturday. But tomorrow night's the Coke 600, of course. Josh Petty, Leonard Kochmer, Zane Davidson, and Michael Lewis all going to be in that race. So congratulations to those guys for moving on and having a chance at the longest race of the season. And hey, that's it for me here tonight from Charlotte. Hope you enjoyed the doubleheader we had here tonight. Got a bunch of great stuff coming up tomorrow. I'll be calling Carb Day practice at 11 a.m. tomorrow for the Indianapolis 250. And then, of course, the Freedom 50 at noon, and then the Coke 600 at 7 p.m., all leading up to the Indianapolis 250 at noon Eastern Time on Saturday. We're about 30, well, not quite 36 hours, a little bit more, about 40 hours away from the Indy 250. 40 hours away. We're excited for it. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Congratulations to Josh Petty on his race victory here from Charlotte, and we'll see you guys next time in the Sprint Series from Gateway next Wednesday night. Here are the points for the Herr Sprint Series after 17 races, and on behalf of Logan Williams, I will see you guys later.